love you guys so much.
Well, the sports world today is mourning the loss of longtime Colts owner and CEO Jim Irsay, who died yesterday at the age of 65. The team announcing that he passed peacefully in his sleep. As we welcome you to NFL Live, I'm Hannah Storm, and on NFL Live today we'll talk about the considerable legacy of Jim Irsay, a man remembered for taking over the franchise at a young age. It was his family business and creating a team that has had an indelible impact upon the city of Indianapolis. Irsay did so, forging a strong bond with his players and staff and the fan base, leading with passion and creating a Super Bowl champion alongside a powerful legacy in the field of mental health. Here's Michelle Beisner-Buck with more.
World champions for the first time since 1971.
The image of Jim Irsay hoisting the Lombardi Trophy after the franchise's victory in Super Bowl 41 could be one of the proudest moments of his professional life. But the longtime Colts owner had his share of turbulent personal moments as well in his 30-plus years in the spotlight. Jim's father, Robert, purchased the Colts in 1972, and after he infamously moved the team from Baltimore to Indianapolis in 1984, the elder Irsay named his son as general manager. Over the next 14 seasons at the helm, the Colts won fewer than 40% of their games and made 3 playoff appearances. When his father passed away in 1997, 37-year-old Jim took over the franchise. His moves to hire Bill Polian to run the front office, draft Peyton Manning in 1998, and later hire head coach Tony Dungy would transform the team to a Super Bowl contender.
Rarely when you start a franchise do you hire a Hall of Fame quarterback, Hall of Fame head coach, and a Hall of Fame general manager to be with Tony, Bill, and Peyton Manning.
The team added Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, and Reggie Wayne. The Colts would win 8 division titles in 13 years and reach their peak at Super Bowl 41.
Now we're world champions.
Manning left the team in 2012, and the Andrew Luck era began. But despite 2 more division titles, it was Irsay's off-the-field behavior that grabbed headlines.
Oh, okay, I understand. 1001.
In March 2014, Irsay was arrested under suspicion of DUI and drug possession, and later pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge. In November 2023, on a profile that aired on HBO's Real Sports, Irsay says that arrest was because I am prejudiced against because I'm a rich, white billionaire. The same interview detailed Irsay's addiction to alcohol and drugs. He says he entered rehab at least 15 times and quit drinking in 2002. Irsay also recounted one of his lowest points, an overdose, when the doctor told him, quote, "Jim, you're one lucky man because I signed virtually the death certificate."
I'm in it for the journey. I'm not big on destination. This journey, keeps going, and I'm all in for it.
From the love of his Colts to his collection of rare guitars and artifacts, and calling famous writers like Hunter S. Thompson a friend, Jim Irsay navigated 2 distinct worlds: the rock and roll counterculture of the 1960s and 70s, with the polished nobility of NFL ownership.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell had this to say: "We were deeply saddened to learn of Jim Irsay's passing. Jim was a friend and a man deeply committed to it." And we should add that Commissioner Goodell pointed out his impact in the field of mental health, as Irsay raised tens of millions of dollars for Kicking the Stigma campaign, spurred on by his and his father's struggles with addiction. As we welcome you all to NFL Live now, Adam Schefter is with us, Peter Schrager, Mina Kimes, Mike Tannenbaum, all here to discuss the singular legacy of Jim Irsay. And Peyton Manning's going to join us later as well. And Adam, I'd love to start with you. How will you remember Mr. Irsay?
Well, Hannah, he was an engaging, eclectic, unique, complicated, gregarious, warm individual. And he will be remembered for the many marks that he left in the world of football, taking over as the general manager of the Colts when he was 24 years old. He used to be in the weight room lifting weights with the players. There were pictures of him in the weight room lifting weights so that could inspire the players to outlift the owner. And then, of course, he had the huge impact on Indianapolis, the city, getting a new stadium built, and all the good he did there. I remember sitting down with him in 2017 for a podcast interview that we posted today. And he went on and on. I don't think I've ever done an interview where I asked fewer questions and the subject did more talking, but that's exactly how Jim Irsay was. He was incredibly interesting and engaging. He talked about Jim Morrison and Jack Kerouac and all the people he had met in his life. And if we look back to last night, just hours before the Indiana Pacers tipped off against the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, Jim Irsay's final tweet was to wish the team in his city good luck. And it was almost as if they had the luck of Jim Irsay on their side last night in one of the more remarkable postseason NBA comebacks that we've seen. This is a man also that was tapped by Edgerrin James and Dwight Freeney and Marvin Harrison to be their presenters at the Hall of Fame. So you know how much he meant to all those individuals and to the city of Indianapolis itself.
I mean, so many people can speak more holistically to who he was as a person, what he meant to his players. I'm really looking forward to hearing from Peyton in that respect. I'll just speak to something he did that I think was integral to the reputation of the league that we all cover, and that was 3 years ago when he became the first owner to publicly state, breaking ranks in the way and doing so, that there was merit to removing Dan Snyder as the owner of the Commanders. For those who have forgotten, Snyder at that point had faced allegations of overseeing a toxic workplace, sexual harassment himself, financial impropriety, would later pay fines for that. But up till that point, no one in that close-knit circle of owners had ever said anything publicly like that. And I think the fact that Jim Irsay did so just reflected who he was, which was a true original and someone who was always willing to speak his mind.
Yeah, beautifully said. A total maverick in a lot of ways also. You think of a billionaire owner in football, you might have a vision, and then there was Jim Irsay who beat to his own drum, quite literally. I had a good relationship with Jim Irsay, covering the NFL for many years and coming to Indianapolis quite a bit. And I always remember going and speaking with him, whether it's at a game on the sidelines or at a league event. It was never about football. I thought he was really cool, an interesting guy. He bought the original manuscript to Jack Kerouac's On the Road in 2001. Bought the transcript or the manuscript for it. In 2002, bought Jerry Garcia's Tiger guitar, which is like a legendary guitar, and it was what Garcia played in his last show in 1995. And then amassed this incredible musical